Today we're gonna read Meditation. We're gonna read Meditation by Marcus. Meditation by Marcus. Because I feel like I'm very... my mind is not in the right place recently, so I thought I need to read some old books to settle my mind. I feel stuck, so I try to find the truth from book, so that's why I start to read it. His body was trained to hardihood by wrestling, hunting, and outdoor games, and though his constitution was weak, he showed great personal courage to encounter the fiercest bears. At the same time, he was kept from the extravagancy of his day. The great excitement in Rome was the triumph of functions, as they were called, in circus. The racing drivers used to adopt one of four colors: red, blue, white, and green, and their partisans showed an eagerness in supporting them which nothing could surpass. Wrath and corruption went in the train of the racing chariots, and from all these things Marcus held civilly aloof. In 140, Marcus was raised to the consulship, and in 1945, his betrothal was consummated by marriage. 2 years later, Faustina brought him a daughter, and soon after the tribunate and other imperial honors were conferred up to him. Autonomous Pius died in 1961, and Marcus assumed the imperial state. He at once associated with himself, whose Autonomous had adopted as a younger son at the same year with Marcus, giving him the name Lucas Aurelius Varus. Henceforth, the two are colleagues in the emperor, the junior being trained as it were to succeed. No sooner was Marcus settled up the throne than wars broke out on all sides. In the east, Vologeses III of Parthenia began a long meditated revolt by destroying a whole Roman legion and invading Syria. Varus was sent off in hot haste to quell this rising, but he fulfilled his trust by plunging into drunkenness and debauchery, while the war was left to his officer. Soon after, Marcus had to face a more serious danger at home in the coalition of several powerful tribes on northern frontier. Chief among those were the Marcomannis, or Marchmen, the Quandi mentioned in the book, the Sarmatians, the Carti, the Jazygoes. In Rome itself, there was pestilence and starvation, the one brought from the east by various legends, the other caused by floods, which had destroyed vast quantity of grain. After all had been done possible to allay famine and to supply surprising needs, Marcus being forced even to sell the imperial jewels to find money. Both emperors set forth to a struggle, which was to continue more or less during the rest of Marcus' reign. During those wars, in 169, Varus died. We have no means of following the campaigns in detail, but thus much is certain, that in the end of Romans succeeded in crushing the barbarian tribes and effecting a settlement which made the emperor more secure. Marcus was himself commander-in-chief, and victory was due no less to his own ability than to his wisdom in choice of lieutenants. Shown conceptuously in the case of Pertinax. There were several important battles fought in this campaign. One of them has become celebrated for the legend of Sundering Legion in the battle against the Quandi in 1974. The day seemed to be going in favor of the foe, when on a sudden arose a greatest storm of thunder and rain. The lightning struck the barbarian with terror, and they turned to rot. In later days, this storm was said to have been set in answer to prayers of a legion which contained more Christians, and the name Sundering Legion should be given to it on this account. The title of Sundering Legion is known at an earlier date, so this part of the story at least cannot be true, but the aid of storm is acknowledged by one of the saints carved on Antonius' column at Rome, which commemorates these wars. The settlement made after these troubles might have been more satisfactory, but for an unexpected rising in the east, Ovidius Cassius, an able captain who had won renown in the Parthian Wars, was at this time chief governor of the eastern provinces. By whatever means induced, he had convinced the project of proclaiming himself emperor as soon as Marcus, who was then in feeble health, should die. And the report having been convinced to him that Marcus was died, Caesar did as he had planned. Marcus, on hearing the news, immediately perched upon a piece and returned home to meet the new peril. The emperor's great grief was that he must needs engage in the horror of civil strife. He praised the qualities of cases and expressed a heartfelt wish that Cassius might not be driven to do himself a hurt before he should have the opportunity to grant a free pardon. But before it could come to the eastern news had come to cases that the emperor still lived. His followers fell away from him, and he was assassinated. Marcus now went to the east, and while there the murderers brought the head of Caesar to him. But the emperor indignantly refused their gift, nor would he admit the man to his presence. On the journey, his wife, Faustina died. At his return, the emperor celebrated a triumph, 1976. Immediately afterwards, he repaired to Germany and took up once more the burden of war. His options were followed by complete success, but the troubles of late years had been too much for his constitution, and no time robust, and on March 17, 180, he died in Pannonia. The great emperor was not spared domestic troubles. Faustina had borne him several children, of whom he was passionately fond. Their innocent faces may still be seen in many sculpture galleries, recalling with odd effect the dreaming countenance of their father. But they died one by one, and when Marcus came to his own end, only one of his sons still lived, the weak and worthless Commodus. On his father's death, Commodus, who succeeded him, ended the work of many companions by a hasty and unwise peace, and his reign of 12 years proving him to be a ferocious and bloodthirsty tyrant. Scandal had made free with the name of Faustina herself, who is accused not only of unfaithfulness, but of intriguing with Cassius and egging him on to his fatal rebellion. It must be admitted that these charges rest on no sure evidence, and the emperor, at all events, loved her dearly, nor ever felt the slightest qualm of suspicion. As a soldier, we have seen that Marcus was born capable, successful. As an administrator, he was prudent and conscientious. Although steeped in the teaching of philosophy, he did not attempt to remodel the world on any preconceived plan. He trod the path beaten by his ancestors, seeking only to do his duty as well as he could. and to keep out corruption. He did some unwise things, it is true, to create a compeer in emperor, as he did with Varus, was a dangerous innovation which could only succeed if one of the two effaced himself. And under Diocletian, this very precedent caused the Rome emperor to split into half. He yeared in his civil administration by too much centralism, but the strong point of his region was the administration of justice. Marcus sought by laws to protect the weak, to make the lot of slaves less hard, to stand in place of father to the fatherless. Charitable foundations were endured for rearing and educating poor children. The provinces were protected against oppression, and public help was given to cities or districts which might be visited by calamity. The great bold on his name, and one hard indeed to explain, is his treatment of Christians. In his region, Justin at Rome became a martyr to his faith, and Polycarp at Samnia, and we know of many outbreaks of fanaticism in the provinces which caused the death of the faithful. It is no excuse to plead that he knew nothing about the atrocities done in his name. It was his duty to know, and if he did not, he would have been the first to confess that he had failed in his duty. But from his own tone in speaking of Christians, it is clear he knew them only from calumny, and we hear of no measures taken even to secure that they should have a fair hearing. In this retrospect, Trajan was better than he. To a thoughtful mind, such a religion as that of Rome would give small satisfaction. Its legends were often childish or impossible. Its teaching had little to do with morality. The Roman regions was in fact of the nature of a bargain. Men paid certain sacrifices and rites, and the gods granted their favor, irrespective of right or wrong. In this case, all devout souls were thrown back upon philosophy, as they had been, though to a less extent, in Greece. There were, under the lying emperor, two rival schools, which practically divided the field into them: Stoicism and Epicureanism. The ideal set before each was nominally much the same. The Stoics aspires the repression of all emotion, and the Epicurean to freedom from all disturbance. Yet, in the upshot, the one has been has become a synonym of stubborn endurance. The other for unbridled lessons. With Epicureanism, we have nothing to do now, but it will be worthwhile to sketch the history and tenets of Stoic set. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, was born in Cyprus at some date unknown, but his life may be said roughly to be between the years 350 and 250 BC. Cyprus has been from time immemorial a meeting place of the East and West. Although we cannot guarantee any importance to a possible string of Phoenician blood in him, yet it is quite likely that though Asian minor, he may have come in touch with the Far East. He studied under the Cynic Crates, but he did not neglect other philosophical system. After many years' study, he opened his own school in a colonnade in Athens called the Painted Porch, or Stoia, which gave the Stoics their name. Next to Zeno, the school of the Porch owns most of Chrysippus, who organizes Stoicism into a system. Of him, it was said, but for Chrysippus, there had been no porch. The Stoics regarded speculation as a mean to an end, and that end was, as Zeno put it, to live constantly homologism, or as it was later explained, to live in conformity with nature. This conforming of life to nature, oralogemens, the phusesin, was Stoic idea of virtue. The dictum might easily be taken to mean that virtue consists in yielding to each nature impulse, but that was very far from the Stoic meaning. In order to live in advance with nature, it is necessary to know what nature is, and to this end, a threshold division of philosophy is made into physics, dealing with the universe, its law, the problems of divine government and teleology, logic, which trains the mind to discern truth from false, and ethics, which applies the knowledge, thus grind to test it to practical life. The Stoic system of physics was materialism with an infusion of pessimism, in contradiction to Plato's view that the idea or prototypes of phenomena alone really exist. The Stoics held that material objects alone existed, but immanent in material universe was a spiritual force which acted through them, manifesting it under many forms as fire, ether, spirit, soul, reason, the ruling principle. The universe thus is God, of whom the popular gods are manifestations, while legends and myths are allegorical. The soul of man is thus an emanation from the Godhead, into whom it will eventually be absorbed. The divine ruling principle makes all works together for good, but for the good of the whole. The highest good of mind is conscientiously to work with God for the common good, and this is the sense in which the Stoic tried to live in accord with nature. In the individual, it is virtue alone which enables him to do this. As providence rules the universe, so virtue in the soul must rule man. In logic, the Stoic system is noteworthy for their theory as to the test of truth. The criterion: they compare the newborn soul to a sheet of paper ready for writing. Upon this, the senses write their impressions, fantasies, and by experience of a number of these, the soul unconsciously conceives general notion, conai, eunoid, or anticipations. When the impression was such as to be irresistible, it was called one that held fast, and as they explained it, one proceeding from truth. Ideas and the inference artificials produced by deduction or the like were tested by this holding perception. Of the ethical application, I have already spoken. The highest good was the virtuous life. Virtue alone is happiness, and vice is unhappiness. Carrying this theory to its extreme, the Stoics said there could be no gradations between virtue and vice, though of course each has its special manifestation. Moreover, nothing is good but virtue, and nothing but vice is bad. Those outside things, which are commonly called good or bad, such as health and sickness, wealthy and poverty, pleasure and pain, are to him indifferent adophora. All these things are merely the sphere in which virtue may act. This ideal wise man is sufficient unto himself in all things, autarkish, and knowing this truth, he will be happy even when stretched upon the wreck. It is probable that no Stoic claimed for himself that he was the wise man, but that each strove after it as an ideal, much as the Christian strives after likeness to Christ. The exaggeration in this statement was, however, so obvious that the later Stoics were driven to make a further subdivision of things indifferent into what is preferable and what is undesirable. They also held that for him who had not attained to the perfect wisdom, certain actions were proper. These were neither virtuous nor vicious, but like the indifferent things, held a middle place. 2 points in the Stoic system deserve special mention. One is a careful distribution between things which are in our power and things which are not, desire and dislike, opinion and affection are within the power of the will. There as health, wealth, honor, and other such are generally not so. A Stoic was called upon to control his desire and affections, and to guide his opinion, to bring his whole being under the sway of the will or leading principle, just as the universe is guided and governed by divine providence. This is a special application of a very great virtue of moderation, and has also its parallel in Christian Athens. The second point is a strong insistence on the unity of the universe and on man's duty as part of a great whole. Public spirit was the most splendid political virtue of the ancient world, and it is here made cosmopolitan. It is again instructive to note that Christian sages insisted on the same thing. Christians are taught that they are members of a worldwide brotherhood, where is neither great nor humble, bound nor free, that they live their lives as fellow workers with God. Such is the system which analyzes the meditation of Marcus Aurelius. Some knowledge of it is necessary to the right understanding of the book. But for us, the chief interest lies elsewhere. We do not come to Marcus Aurelius for a treatise on Stoicism. He is no head of a school to lay down a body or of doctrine for students. He does not even contemplate that others should read what he reads. His philosophy is not an eager intellectual inquiry, but more what we should call religious feeling. The uncompromising stiffness of Zeno or Chrysippus is softened and transformed by passing through a nature relevant and tolerant, gentle and free from glee. The grim resignation which made life possible to the Stoic sage became in him almost